Hi, I'm Jeremy, and today I'm going to look at a German game called Faulpelz. This game is only published, I believe, in Germany. It's from the designer Rüdiger Dorn. It's a relatively light family-style game where you're going to be collecting sets of various animal tiles by playing cards. I will show you how the game works, and then I'll come back to give you my thoughts on it. Okay, so this is a setup that you would see at the start of the game, and it is made up of, first of all, there's a border along the right side and along the top, and then the rest of the grid is going to be a number of individual animal tiles, and each of those animal tiles is going to have a couple features. So, to look at one, this one, it's a lion. It shows you that it's worth 2 points, 2 lion points, and it shows you the requirements to complete a set of lions, which would be 6. So this would count toward 2 of your 6 that you would need to complete a set of lions. And each figure has a different number on it. So for example, these sloths require 7. And these seals require only 2. And this one counts as one of those 2. There's another type of animals, and those are going to be these birds. And they come in 3 types. So there's a little pelican, a toucan, and I guess it's a cockatoo. And those are essentially wilds that could be added to any suit. You can never start a group of animals with one of those wild birds, but they could be used to complete a group. The caveat being that only one type of those birds could be added to each set that you are forming. So if I have a set of lions, I could only, once I add pelicans, I could only continue to add pelicans to those set. So the way the game works is on your turn, you're going to have each player is going to have a set of 6 cards that corresponds with each of the 6 animals that can be formed into set. You'll shuffle those up and you will draw the top 3. And then from those 3 cards, what you're going to do is you're going to pick one of those cards to play. So for example, if I had these, I might choose to play this seal. That would enable me to take this seal here. So I took a seal tile, and then I get to pick any one of the adjacent tiles. So if I took this cockatoo, for example, I'd immediately then have my 2 that I would require for a set. So I'd have 1 seal here. This counts as a seal because it's a wild, and I need 2. So I would flip this over and set that down in a pile. That would be points I would score at the end of the game. You're only going to score for complete sets at the end of the game. So I'm down to 2 cards. I would draw up to 3, provided I still have cards available. And now I'd be back up to 3 cards. It would be the other player's turn. So you'll notice when I took these 2 tiles here, that increased the number of tiles that are available, or at least it changed the number of tiles that are available. So now these 2 tiles are available. So you cannot take anything through the border, but you can take anything that's along the left side here or the bottom at the start of the game. So let's say it was green's turn. They had these 2 tiles, and let's say that they played their lion to take this lion and then this warthog. They would then, keep those face up in front of them. They had not completed a set of either, so they would just stay face up. They would then draw back up to 3. And now if it was my turn as the red player, I would be able to, then just continue and play a card. So for example, if I played this, I could take this card and this card now. And then on the green player's turn, they could take, this tile, this tile, this tile, this tile, this tile, this tile, or any of the cards along the bottom or the side. So to be clear, like let's say on the green player's turn, they took this tile and this tile. They would add them to their set. That might complete that set. Then you'll notice that this lion here becomes isolated. If ever you play a lion card to take that card, you will not get a bonus card because there's nothing adjacent to it. So you would only get 1 tile for that card play. Also, let's say that somehow these 3 tiles were taken. Then this bird would be left alone. You would never be able to claim that bird because you can never claim a bird as your first action. There's no bird card. There are only cards that allow you to take an animal and then a bird as your second tile. So that's going to happen for 6 rounds until every player has played their last card. So on your 6th turn, you'll only have 1 card left, and you'll be forced to take that animal. If that animal is not available, either because they're all blocked in or because they've all been taken from the board, you would just play the card and do nothing on your turn. After you've done that for 6 rounds, you'll reshuffle and go through your deck one more time, each player, until everybody's had an equal number of turns, gone through their deck, playing 12 cards and taking at least 12 tiles. And then at the end of the game, you're going to score. So the way the scoring works is you just essentially, every pile that you flip down because you've completed a set, you'll flip over and score the number of points that are shown up in the corner. So this set of seals would be worth 2 points, whereas this set of warthogs would be worth 3 points. You just add up all of your points that are in completed sets, and whoever has the most points will win. In the case of the tie, the person with the most tiles, regardless of the values or the symbols on them, the most tiles will be the winner. Okay, so that is Faulpelz. It's published by Cosmos, and like I said, I think it's only available in Germany, and the game does only come with German rules, although you could print English rules off of Board Game Geek. The game, it says here, is for ages 8 and up, and it plays from 2 to 4 players in about 30 minutes, which seems accurate based on my plays of the game. I will say that the game reminds you of the, when you first look at it, of the children's game Memory, but it does have a little bit more strategy than that game. Because your cards are going to influence what you're able to pick during your turn. You have to plan ahead, and when there's a good opportunity to get a high point value card, you want to play your card. Of course, because you only hold 3 of your 6 cards at any given time, you're at the mercy of luck and at the mercy of what other players do during their turn to a certain extent. But that's the nature of the game. I would say that the game does play from 2 to 4. I've played it with 2, and I've played it with 3 and 4 as well. And I find that the 2-player game, there's not really the competition for tiles that there is in a 4-player game, for example. Because in a 4-player game, there's more people grabbing the same number of tiles that are laid out at the start of the game. There's a very real possibility that the tile that you want might not be there at the end of the game, and you might have to play a card and not get any tiles for it. Whereas in a 2-player game, that's only going to happen if something is generally hidden near the top of the row and you don't have access to it. So generally, it's a friendlier game at 2 players. At 4 players, it's a slightly more competitive game, but by its nature, it's not a especially cutthroat game. One thing that you might want to try doing if you're playing with 2 players would be either add a 3rd or maybe even a 4th round to the game. There are enough tiles to support that, and you would get some of that scarcity that you would get in a 4-player game. That'll result, of course, in higher scores because you're collecting more animal tiles, but you will have more of the board gobbled up by the 2 players in that variation. Otherwise, I think that it's a solid family game. I think that the rules take no time at all to explain, as you just saw, and it's really approachable for children or for people who aren't really familiar with a lot of board games. So I would suggest it for those people. But I've had fun playing it with my board gaming friends as well. So that is Faulpelz, which I believe means lazy bones in Germany. And again, designed by Rüdiger Dorn. I would give it a recommendation for those who are looking for something along those lines. So that's it. Thanks.